Welcome to another episode of Mr. Therapist and the Counselor podcast, a podcast where we discuss mental health and addiction recovery topics, and our goal is to demystify the process of therapy through having honest, raw, and real conversations. My name is Manny Romero. Jesse O.
This week on the episode of Mr. Therapist and the Counselor, we're going to discuss a lot of different things, but the core of the discussion will be about parenting styles, relationships, how it impacts the relationship between mom and dad, the significant others. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more.
Sell it, bro. Sell it.
I'm actually just confused right now.
Sell it.
But this is going to be a good episode. You know why?
So good.
It's another week with Mr. Therapist and the Counselor. Where can we go wrong? Exactly. I'll tell you where. All kinds of places. But this is why you listen to it. Share the show. Demystify some things.
That's right.
Let's go into the topic. Let's not go into the topic.
Let's just start the show.
Dude. Thanks, man.
Oh, dude.
Saying I'm not lively. Dave, hold my rings.
Amazing. That was amazing. Yeah.
Dave,
you told him to share the show.
Yeah, I told you, man.
Hell yeah.
Here you go, Dave. Oh. Thanks, man. How are you?
Now you got to do it because the counselor told you to.
What's going on, man? My friend?
Not much, man.
Man, he just opened his mouth.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Shout out to Canada.
Not much, man. You asking me how I'm checking in today? Is that what you're asking me?
Oh, yeah. How you checking in today?
Oh, dang.
How you checking in today? The first segment of the show this week.
That's right. So I'm checking in good. I got this Rotary Routes hat because the Rotary.
What's a Rotary
route?
San
Clemente Rotary is actually paying for our studio today and for our production. No, I'm just kidding. No, they're not.
Like, what?
No, we don't.
Thank you, Rotary Route.
The Rotary Route was a mental health walk that me and my wife and my beautiful children did today, and
I got two of those.
That's why I'm kind of sporty right now. Yeah, so yeah, I'm doing good, man.
I like the casual look, dude.
Oh, thank you, dog.
Looking lean and mean.
Ooh,
there you go.
You promise?
You promise? I just said it. I'm not lying to your face right now.
You're not, dude. How are you? How you checking in today, bro?
How am I checking in today? Good question. Driving here to San Clemente this week to record Mixed Emotions. Ooh. I had a trying week, challenging week, professionally, personally. Professionally, it's wild in this field. I say wild. Maybe it's challenging. You could have really highs and lows. I came in on Monday. I took a few days off because I had family in town, and I had gotten a call from a client at work saying that they had found one of their peers, one of my former clients, dead in their apartment after they were attempting to go back into detox after they had relapsed. I felt really a lot of remorse. I felt very there was a little bit of guilt because I wasn't. He actually told me, he's like, Jesse, when I walked in the apartment and I found his body, I reached into my jacket and I found your card, and you were the first person I called. And because it's a work line and he doesn't have my personal contact because this is how it's set up where I work, I felt like, oh, man, like he reached out for me and I wasn't there for him. But I recognized the boundaries and why that was the case. But I called him and I talked to him, and he was doing okay. He didn't relapse himself, because to see something as traumatic like that can be very challenging for somebody anytime in their life, in particular early sobriety.
Right.
And then so that's a low. And then in the high of working in the field of addiction recovery is that at the end of the week, I had two people reach out to me, and they gotten 1 year sober.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it's like to see how impactful that is, how much their life has changed in 1 year by making this commitment. Just wow, just so many different emotions. How do I take that on while my own personal life? There's things as well that can be challenging. My daughter's been sick this week. But at the end of it, I'm all right.
That's amazing, man.
I'm doing okay, and not more than okay. I'm content. I'm healthy. I'm motivated. So, and I'm here.
Yeah. No, I'm happy you shared that. I think so. The word countertransference comes to mind, right? And countertransference in the professional mental health field is, when the counselor, when a therapist experiences some sort of emotion from the work that they're doing, right? And so we experience it all the time, and I'm glad that you were able to describe what that was like for you this week as you're working through that, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We have a few things to just a little banter to start off with, right?
Yeah. Manny sends me stuff on my phone. Most of it's appropriate to discuss on the show. But I caught
Don't talk about the pictures, please.
I got this one. You sent me the thing about Sean Puff
Sean
Daddy,
Diddy Combs.
P. Diddy Combs. Yeah. Actually, I like told you, I looked at my phone. I was like, who's this guy? Who's running down the hall? I was like, is that Puff Daddy?
Yeah. So there's a video. Can you describe the video?
I described the video.
Yeah. So people know what to.
Sean Puff Daddy, whatever the fuck his name, Mr. Combs. I don't even want to call him Mr. He just there was some allegations about him acting out in 2016 towards I guess he was in a relationship with a singer named Cassie. I don't know her last name.
Yeah.
But there was a video from a hotel where he violently ran up to her, grabbed her, threw her down. I think threw a kick or two.
Yeah.
Started dragging her.
Yeah.
It's not something I would. When I saw it and I started to tell my wife and my mom about it, I told them, like, you don't have to watch it. It's for anybody if they want to see it. But it's shocking and disturbing for sure. So I don't think even if you send it to me, I don't know if my curiosity probably would have got to me for sure, because throughout my life that person, Sean Combs, has been like relevant through growing up and listening to hip hop in the 90s. So I probably would have been like, oh, let me see this. I got to check this out real quick.
People look up to him. People have looked up to him as a figure.
Good way to
before. But yeah, it's and I think it's crazy. I think we got to talk about it because it is being talked about out there. It is out there, and it's a topic of conversation. And I don't know, just to say, like, we don't condone that. Like, that's not cool,
Do we even have to say that?
No, but you know what? I think.
Why'd you want to talk about it?
I just think it happens a lot more often than people feel comfortable to talk about, and we are setting a goal to talk about things that are uncomfortable and that are real and that are raw.
I guess it's sad that happened in 2016. It's now.
Did we even name what just happened? You did, right? You did. He was like physically hitting his girlfriend.
Yeah. I said he grabbed her from behind, threw her down, threw a couple kicks at her, and then started to drag her. What I was going to say is, though, like, it's sad that this happened in 2016, and now it's all of a sudden it's come out in 2024.
Yeah.
But that shows once again the lack of consequences for people in power at times.
Sure.
Where, if you're not faced with consequences, I see it all the time in addiction. If you have less consequences, less repercussions from your actions, why stop?
Yeah.
I'll act the way that I want to act.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, once again, we talk about, like, I guess to your point, it's like, raise your voice, speak up. Like, it's disgusting what I saw.
Yeah.
So.
And I'll say a caveat with this, right? Like, I think we're careful not to give advice because we are not a mental health platform. We're not a platform of therapy or where you get advice, but this is for entertainment and for information only. But it's very difficult when you're in a situation like that, when you're an abused partner, because you don't know how far it can go.
Yeah.
So raising your voice doesn't mean like scream back or hit back, but try to find someone you can trust who can walk you through a sound plan for you to be able to exit that type of a relationship in a way where you're going to be safe. And so I recommend you talking to a professional. And if you're in Orange County locally, there's Laura's House is such a good resource for victims of abuse in relationships. But yeah, it's find those resources that are going to be able to help you.
And I guess last thing I'd say on that is just watching that video. That really is what separates the men from the monsters. Yeah. And you sometimes you never know about people. I don't know what that last part, what I just said, what that's supposed to mean. Just learn how to set. What I'm trying to say is, I guess it's okay to set boundaries whenever. Be productive and speaking up. So, but that's all I got really on that.
Yeah, totally. I sent you another article.
Yep. This one did not have any graphic videos on it. This one I was just like, what the fuck did you just send me?
So I sent you an article that we got to talk about here because we are a recovery podcast, right? So this article is from KQED. And so it says, and I'll link
What
it
the hell is
in the title.
KQED. What is that?
I don't know, but
Never mind. I want to publicize
I'm not
it too
about
much.
to go into that right now.
Is it from the Bay though?
Probably.
Okay.
So San Francisco program isn't just free beer for unhoused. It's backed up by research.
So this is a harm reduction model, right?
Yeah. So San Francisco has a managed alcohol program.
Check this out, everybody. A managed alcohol program. Continue.
Which kind of, we'll kind of go over to what that means. But this program provides housing, 3 meals a day for people that are in recovery who are struggling with alcohol. And they provide nurse-administered alcohol, usually in the form of beer or vodka, dosed to keep clients at a safe level of intoxication. And so this article claims that it's something that they wish other programs would do because it's scientifically backed up to help people in recovery. What are your thoughts here, counselor? Your face is speaking, counselor.
All right. So this is basically a program that enables drinking. So harm reduction. What is harm reduction? Harm reduction is basically what it's keeping the addiction consistent.
Yeah.
All right. I know there's harm reduction models for like opiate addicts, heroin addicts. What does it mean to harm?
What does it mean to hurt yourself?
Right.
Yeah.
So harm reduction. Harm means to hurt.
Yeah. So you're not gonna hurt 100%. We're gonna reduce the hurt down to maybe 50 or 20. Yeah.
So basically, this is a program that says we don't want you to have to suffer any type of pain.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? If you're an addict, if you're an alcoholic, you're going to have to go through the pain.
If you're a human,
you're going to have to feel the pain.
Yeah.
Right?
And gosh, you're making such a good point. If you want to be a human who is a productive member of society, we have to experience pain. Like, it's a part of life. It's a part of living. And so I think, enabling is a good way of putting it, of like, yeah, you're really overprotecting, a population that needs help learning how to cope with pain as opposed to being blocked from the pain.
I don't know if it's the Dalai Lama that said that. A couple other people, I'm trying to think who said this, but what did they say? They said, pain is inevitable, but suffering is really optional.
Yeah.
This right here is like I couldn't believe what you sent me. Because in the sense of like what is the concept? Harm reduction to me is like, okay, I don't want my kid doing heroin, so I'm gonna have him smoke weed, right? So these people are just slowly dying.
Yeah.
I mean, you said they gave them vodka?
Yeah, or beer. Managed levels. I don't know how they control the managed levels, by the way.
I guess the harm is, the mental part is good, but the physical part, you're putting a hammer to that thing for sure.
Yeah.
Nailing the coffin.
Right.
It's just like, it's pretty gnarly, man.
Yeah, so. And
Is
then
that the bay gets down or what?
And not to get political, but like if you live in San Francisco,
political. Oh, here we go.
this is a city funded or county funded program, so it's something that your tax dollars are funding.
This guy didn't get political. Well, whatever political party you are, and I still how about just amazing recovery? I'm like, I thought this is a far fetched idea. We've talked about harm reduction a little bit, but this shit is wild.
Other forms of harm reduction is people passing out needles, clean needles, so that like if you're going to be using something intravenously, that you're not using a dirty needle, so that you're not infecting yourself. You feel a little bit different about that?
A little bit.
Okay.
A tiny bit. I think you're avoiding potential certain diseases. I think trying to keep the streets as clean as you can from people that are using needles.
Yeah.
So how's my volume? Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's I don't know what to say else about that.
Yeah, and then another form, Narcan is a form of harm reduction, right? Passing out free Narcan.
Yeah, it is basically say, hey, like, a lot of parents, when I say unfortunately, this is a great route to prevent an overdose, but a lot of like families will keep Narcan in the house if they have somebody that's abusing opiates to prevent potential death. So, but that's once again, that's different. They say like, just give me a little bit of vodka every single day. I'm just like, I don't know. That's fucking.
So let us know
out there.
Let us know what you think. Do you have any questions about harm reduction? Do you agree with harm reduction? Has it helped somebody that you know? Or do you feel the same way as the counselor does?
The counselor does. Bum, bum, bum. All right. So this week,
yes,
we are going to talk about, what's the topic this week, Manny?
Today we're going to talk about
the clock has started.
The clock has started, and we are going to talk about why do parents struggle when they come together and they have to figure out how to parent their child. What are some of the common struggles that new parents face with children? There's some research out there that in a relationship, when you start having kids, is when the satisfaction with the relationship is the lowest. Yeah. And I think it has to do with the challenges that come with introducing a new life into this world that you are trying to mentor and guide and develop. So,
well, your significant other also is not the number one person anymore.
Your significant other doesn't, yeah. So that changes a lot.
That's a big part of it, right?
Yeah. How you're distributing your attention.
Yeah,
absolutely. And so
kind of like a harm reduction model a little bit,
right? Let me ask you this: You're a new dad, right? You have
I got a child,
very young child.
She's mine.
She is yours.
Yeah.
Did you have any challenges?
I hate my wife.
No, he loves you.
I can't stand her. Did I have any challenges?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I'm living in it right now. Where do you want to start? First of all, if you could read book after book, and there's then it happens. It's going down. There's a life in your hands, and you're just like, I'm going to focus everything on this thing. I got to keep this thing alive, right? Is this thing breathing? I'm checking the monitor over and over again. Yeah. So all your attention, all your focus, becomes about that individual. Yeah. And then the discussion we're going to have today is we have to meet in the middle on how we agree to raise this little human being. So your backgrounds, your ethics, your morals.
Yeah, you got to really look at your own life.
Yeah, you have to look at your life. Look at how I was raised in comparison to maybe how my partner's was raised. So there's where do we begin?
Yeah. So in a lot of relationships, there's usually a parent that is stricter, and that
is not me.
Is structured, and then there is the parent who's a little more loose. Yeah. So you're the loose parent.
Back in my teenage years, I was pretty loose, but you mean in the sense of being very direct with the rules?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm the sucker for sure.
Yeah.
I'm the sucker.
Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, me too. I'm the sucker. My wife is super structured. She's
the mother's the enemy. Yeah.
I know. Just get rid of them all now. And it's super.
That'll be on the reel this week. I'm just kidding. It won't be.
Super structured. And
why we said suckers? Is it because it's girls?
I said suckers?
No, you and I. We are the weak ones,
right?
We
are the weak ones.
Yeah, I mean, why is it harder for us to put down, lay down the law? Is it because we're girl dads? Is that what it is?
Why?
Why do they have to be the enforcer?
I think because, in our situation, I think my wife is very rule focused. So she loves structure. She loves rules. And and she does it for a living, right? She develops structure and rules for a living for kids. Okay. And so, and for me, I'm all about the love and the connection, right? And so I'm like, oh, it's all right, baby, So I'm I just try to I give third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances, So when we wake up my daughter in the morning, when my wife wakes up my daughter to get ready, she goes in,
yanks off the blanket, throws cold water in her face.
No, but she talks to her, hey, it's time to go. Let's do this. And they go. When I do it, I'm like, all right, I'm going to start waking up 30 minutes before so I can go in there, tell her a couple times. She's not going to listen to me. And then and my wife's like, I don't know how you do that. So I guess we're a little weaker in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just I'm gonna keep saying I'm a sucker. I don't what I now right now currently it's this. It's I feel that this will be my response. I feel like she doesn't know a lot. And I know there's
You're talking about your wife. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's back to her. No, but my daughter, I feel like she's just so young.
Yeah.
I mean, she's very impressionable, right? And she does pick up on things. Yeah. She knows when she doesn't want to go to bed, she'll say, she'll find ways to get out of it. So like she, and I don't want to say the manipulation starts young, but like there's tactics already being formed, right? Yeah. But I don't know. I just feel like I just feel like this. I have this feeling where I'm like, I don't need to lay down the law yet.
Okay.
Like the consequences of her like wanting to play a little bit longer in comparison to like I'm gonna stay out past my curfew is like completely different.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just kind of trying to give myself excuses for
Sure.
the reasons I parent.
Yeah. So and there's someone who's a little bit more structured to be like, well, you're already setting up bad habits.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That are going to be harder to pull back on.
I'm
right.
fucked. I get it. Yeah.
I'm just happy that like I have an expert in my house. Like
hold my damn hand,
helping
man.
me out. Yeah. So I pulled up an article that talked about the different parenting styles that are common, right, with different cultures, different types of people, and so there's 4. So can I list them out to you?
Please.
Yeah. Okay. So we have the authoritarian parents, right, and so the authoritarian parents, they're punitive, they're very restrictive. Like there's only like a few ways to do things. They have firm limits. They don't allow for a lot of like verbal exchange between them and the child. Like there's not a lot of reasoning that the child is allowed to be doing. And let's see, yeah. So that's the authoritarian parent. So you think about someone who's like militant almost, right? Military. That's not you, obviously.
No, I don't. I think it's hard to do that when maybe the field impacts me so much because I am one to like be reasonable, like talk things out a little bit. So,
would you respond to that type of parent? Do you think? Like
no,
yeah.
I'm too. I still tend to like push and go against the grain.
Yeah.
So if like when people present rules to me, I'm still very like, where's the wiggle room in these rules?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's just kind of still rebellious nature a little bit.
Yeah, and so we got to talk about this too. Like you have to, as a parent, you have to be flexible, right?
Yes.
And so because you could have a personality like Jesse's, there's nothing wrong with that. There's
nothing
a lot of personalities
wrong with me
out there.
Yeah,
but that push back to rules, right? They don't really conform. The second type of parent is authoritative. Which, not to be confused with authoritarian, but the authoritative parenting encourages independence, still places limits and still controls a child, but there's a verbal exchange that's allowed to happen between the child and the parent. And so the parent, is very involved in nurturing and being warm towards the child. Okay. But there's still these rules and these limits. So it almost sounds like a healthy, assertive parent, right?
It's a step down from the authoritarian.
Yeah. Then there's the neglectful parent. The neglectful parenting style, parents are very much uninvolved with the child's life. These parents tend to be very demanding, very undemanding, and offer little control. They are rejecting and unresponsive to the child's needs. And then finally, there's the indulgent parenting style, which is parents who are very involved, very accepting, and very responsive to their child. But these parents place few demands and few controls on the child. And the result of all of these parenting styles are they develop different types of children, right? So, I don't know if you had to place yourself on this. I know it's boxes we're doing, right? But like, which one do you feel like?
I would like to. What was the second one after authoritarian?
It's authoritative, and so you have boundaries, but you are nurturing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I attempt to be the authoritative, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's where I would like to be. For sure. I think the first one, the
authoritarian.
Yeah, that one. That's off the table for me. I'm about negotiating a little bit. My child is not a terrorist, so I will negotiate with the child. So.
And I think just healthy development, we promote authoritarian, this balance between firm boundaries and also having warmth and having compassion and having connection. Right. So you're on track with that. That's probably why the girl, your little one, is so sweet. Yeah. Were you about to say something?
No. I mean, I have something to bring up. I don't know if this is the spot to do it.
Bring it up, bro.
I think
this is your show.
It is half my show. I already feel like I'm a helicopter parent.
Okay.
And you know what a helicopter parent is, right?
Yeah.
Kind of just a person that hovers, is worried about the child, like. There's a fear that something could happen to the child. I researched it a little bit because I know, like, I've already impacted my daughter in certain ways. Like, I would, if she hits something, she's like, bump my head, like it's a big tragedy. Like, she's even like, she walks and everything, but like I know when there's like a big step, she'll take it very slow, because I remember a couple times I jumped when I thought she was gonna fall.
Yeah.
And some people will naturally let their kids fall, but I was so sensitive to that. Where I know I've impacted her already. My goal later.
What do you mean by that? What do you think how is she affected by it?
Because she'll step so slowly, like she won't like. She's like almost
afraid.
She's getting used to falling a little bit, but I can still see it where she like slowly like kind of treads when she walks. But I know that's a reflection of my parenting style.
Sure.
My goal is not to be a helicopter parent, but it's challenging because I think for me, because I know growing up, and this ties into my abandonment issues, I want to be so present in my kid's life. I don't want them to hurt. And I know that's impossible, as we just talked about, like pain is inevitable, right? But there is this, like, I wanted her to know, like, I'll always be there. You're safe. But I guess I'm also very overprotective initially. But maybe because she's a baby, I'm hoping that I'm going to work on letting that shed as time.
How old's your daughter?
She's 2.
She's still considered a baby?
I call her my baby. She's a toddler.
Toddler. Yeah, there
Why can't I call her baby?
I don't know. I'm just challenging.
I'm
challenging these ideas.
You call me baby boy, right?
I'm challenging these ideas.
Yeah, I know. No, I think I'll go sweet kid or sweet baby, and my wife will be like, she's a toddler, and I'll go fuck yourself. She's mine. No. I'm just kidding. I
don't throw plates, I promise.
I'm a lot more chill. But anyways, I just wanted to bring up the whole helicopter parents, because I hear people go, God, I have helicopter parents. Like, I had to like leave the house because of this and that. And
how do you, if you're a helicopter parent, not just you, but like if someone's listening, how do you work on something like that? How do you think you work on something like that?
Allow your child to take risks. And what I mean by that is like, almost maybe trust in the fact that they are going to make mistakes. Yeah. Like this is a part of growth, growing up, all that stuff. So
I think you got to separate the fact that like your anxiety doesn't mean there's a real threat.
Right.
Right.
That's
and
good.
So like there's like recognize what's yours and recognize what's not yours. Right. It's like your child exploring and are they safe? Like then it's okay maybe if they fall or if they cry or if they are exploring with something. Obviously, if it's like a knife, you want to like take it away from them. Yeah. But if it's something,
if your kid goes to a trap house, sure, helicopter away, right? Like, but but there are going to be some things like, the day that like my kid gets on a bike or something like that, I'm going to be like, go for it, But I don't know. It's going to be like, it's going to learn as I go a little bit.
I think I'm too relaxed.
Yeah.
Like, I would say that. Like, I'm too relaxed. I feel like my daughter sometimes, like, she'll be, like, in the kitchen. There's, like,
here you go, hold the knives.
Last month's, like, egg on the floor. She'll be like, oh, my, how's it taste, babe? Is it good?
No. Bad. I don't think that's too lax.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm like, germs.
So I sometimes I do feel like, okay, I gotta like step it up and really, and I don't know if you do this, but so I have an older daughter than you, right? She's 5 years old, and she'll push boundaries sometimes, and so sometimes she'll test the limits of my threats, and I will just throw threats out there when I get angry. I'll be like, stop that, or I'm gonna throw away your clothes, like like something impossible.
Have you used that really? But like something like
impossible where it's like, you're not gonna do that. And my wife will look at me like, why would you say that?
Why'd you
like
go there?
She's not gonna. Like, I don't know. But I'll get like easily frustrated. But it's got to be tough, especially. And I see a lot of kids who have oppositional defiant disorder, or who have ADHD. It's children who they push back on limits.
Okay.
Like they have a tendency to not listen to authority.
Yeah.
And to kind of push back and to do their own thing. And so as a parent, I feel like you have to be flexible, right? In how you parent a child who maybe pushes back. And so I have an article here that we could talk about a little bit, but like what do you do? Because this is really something that I feel like puts parents at odds with each other, right? When you have a child and you haven't experienced it yet, I feel like I'm in that place where Mia's starting to push back a little more.
Yeah.
But as they become teenagers, maybe we'll be in this for real, where your child doesn't listen to you, or your child challenges you, or your child is like pushing back on the limit. This puts parents at odds, right?
Yeah.
And oh, do you have any thoughts on that? I have some answers here, but just kind of for discussion's
Like
purposes.
in the sense of just like how
do you like regain
Plan
that
it.
control from if your child has maybe sort of played the role where they kind of put you guys at odds with each other, you and your partner. You guys are like, you guys are having a different philosophy around how to parent some behavior that's really hard, and you and your partner are sort of have that challenge up in front of you, right? Like, how do you?
I guess maybe that's important as a couple or as a relationship, is to make sure that like a game plan going in, right?
Totally.
It's like
yes, 100.
Well, I mean, it's like you got to be like, hey, listen, like, okay, we have these differences, but at the same time, like, we've got to agree on this game plan.
Yeah.
Like, if we're gonna take down the T-Rex here, we gotta like
Yes.
we gotta have like a master game plan. Like, because if you
Yes.
want to do your style, then I want to do my style. Like, we're gonna get eaten alive. So I think
Yes.
that's probably just, no matter what our backgrounds and our experiences, it's kind of like, where are we gonna meet with this person so we are on the same page. You got to be a united front. I think when raising a parent, you have disagreements. I think most definitely behind maybe a closed door. It's kind of like, I mean, even like us or something. We could talk about something and we could have different opinions, but like when we come in here, it's showtime, right? So
it really is about being collaborative, right? And so like I have this article from the Child Mind Institute that exactly you took the word. I didn't even show you this article. You took the
was
words
this a
right out of their
$42
mouth.
one?
No, this was not something I bought.
You just got my shit for free.
But it was presenting that united front, dude, and I feel like that's such a trendy word, like present a united front.
Yeah.
But I think you have to really work on the relationship with your partner to be able to do that. Right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it gets probably harder as kids get older, and once again, like backgrounds and experiences with your own parents and what you liked and what you didn't like. The kids just change the game so much.
There's this one thing that was on this article that said, present a united front. Don't disagree in front of the children. What do you think? Do you agree with that? Do you think I pushed back on that a little bit?
I think it's nearly impossible to do that.
Yes.
Because it could be like something could be happening in the heat of the moment. I mean, I agree, like, not to argue too much in front of your kids.
Yeah.
Like, you can show like there's healthy conflict and disagreement, because we're human beings. We're not going to agree on everything, right? That's almost like unnatural. But I find that kind of hard.
Yeah.
Because let's say your daughter, my daughter gets older, she might bring up a point. We're having a conversation. I might be like, okay, I do agree with you on that. Like, don't want to undermine my partner at the time, but like, no, I that might be a little hard to. Like,
it's hard. It's a hard expectation to set. And
expectation it is for sure, right?
Yeah, and I think if you're looking at it from the lens of developing your child, one, disagreeing and arguing, for one thing, it could make your child feel like they're responsible, right?
Yeah.
Maybe if you guys are fighting,
right,
the disagreements get really escalated.
Yeah,
it could be harmful into the way that like the child might feel responsible. They're talking about me. I made them fight. I caused this. But in another sense, it's also a model for how you're teaching your child to collaborate with other people.
Yeah,
because they're gonna face the world where they're gonna be different from everybody else. They're gonna have different ideas, and they're gonna have to find a way to collaborate with other people. And so when you disagree, and when you talk about that in front of your child, you're kind of showing and modeling a way of, this is how you work together with somebody.
right.
And
I think that introduces like conflict at times, and like how you can work through and have conflict resolution. So, I mean, there's going to be there can be healthy disagreements. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So.
Another point that this article talked about is like the importance as parents to be willing to compromise and let your partner do their way of things as an experiment.
Okay.
Especially in a moment where you guys have a different philosophy. So, let's say you and your wife, you want to have more patience with your daughter and like give her a fifth chance and a fifth opportunity. Your wife is like, no, we got to give it a consequence.
Yeah.
And so if you're in that heat of the moment, that tug and pull, giving your wife that like, okay, let's try it your way.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's throw it against the wall, see if it sticks.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. That's a healthy way of viewing things,
I think
right?
so. Yeah, I agree.
But I think a lot of couples struggle to get there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is that just like a lot of ego and once again probably past experiences, and and that could also read more into like the current issues in the relationship and like how maybe one person feels, and so yeah, that could really be like a whole like a loaded gun with that one as well. So like, but
So there, what you're saying is there could be some underlying issues in the relationship that they're not even about the child anymore.
No, that's what I am saying. Yeah. It could be that. It could be more than that, like, because it could be wearing and like other things could be going on. So, because the relationship can be very fragile. That for those first, I think, maybe year or 2 years or who knows. I mean, I'm experiencing myself right now. You go through different waves of the relationship, how you view your partner. So there's so many things like constantly changing, and you're trying to get like stable as you're raising this kid and want to introduce this kid to like a healthy like life, mentally, physically, all that stuff. So I mean, it's just it's very trying. It's kind of, you learn as you go.
Totally.
So but at the same time, that's what happens though. So often people get impacted as a couple because it's just like, this is maybe, the idea, I think, probably for a lot of people is like, when you go into a committed relationship, it's like, this is what I signed up for. And then you introduce this whole new thing, a kid. And sure, you probably signed up for that too, but you didn't realize what was going to come with that.
Yeah.
Except for like, oh, yeah, your life is going to be different. Oh, you got kids coming? Yeah. Oh, yeah, everything's going to change.
Right.
I mean, what the fuck did that mean?
Yeah.
I kept hearing that from parents all the time. Like, oh, your life is going to change. Your world is going to change. And, yeah, they were right. I mean, like, I'm like, oh, I get it now. But sometimes I can't even explain what that is because there's so many things that are constantly evolving.
As a new parent, you mean?
Yeah.
I think it's just not about you anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, it's not.
And so I think
it's not about them either.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Your partner. Know, so
I think as a philosophy, like, it's almost like your as a parent philosophy, like, you have to expand your awareness as to, like, it's not about me. It's not even really about my partner. It's about how we raise this family, how we create a family here, right? And so I think it's easy for us to discuss being in the toddler stage and not in the teenager stage, which, I feel like that's like the NFL level right there, but of parenting. But I do come across this a lot with young families, people who are bringing up a family. This starts getting this right is important because it starts to muddle the difference. Is it muddle a word?
Yeah.
Okay. It starts to muddle the relationship between you and your partner, without you even knowing it, right?
Right.
And you hit on a lot of good points here about the importance of having respect for your partner through this whole process of parenting.
We're running out of time here. Is there anything else that you want to bring up on this subject?
This is good, man. This is actually kind of where I was at. Yeah.
There we go. So we'll put a stamp on this.
I guess just letting the audience know, like, if you have questions about parenting styles. If you're facing a challenging conflict situation with your child, and you want us to discuss that a little bit further, send us a message, send us a private message, and we can privately discuss, give you some feedback or some advice on kind of how to help with some of that. So other than that, man, please subscribe to the channel, share it with someone if you found some value. The counselors here, posing like always,
checking on your friends, right? My name, tag it home today. I'm Jack. Greet you like I give a fuck. Are you surprised by that?